Hi Cancer, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. Cancer, this is going to be your August 2024 general reading. And I think I only have one thing before we get started to talk about, and that's going to be my personal readings. And so I have been talking about getting out a video. Some of you have been asking about personal readings. All I can say is that it's coming. Sometimes these things take time, and I believe in universal timing. So stay tuned for a video that will be coming out very soon once I get these videos done, and hopefully I'll get it out right after. So we are going to be doing some mirror work in today's reading. So what is mirror work? Well, let me just tell you that mirror work is probably one of the best things that you can use to start to heal yourself, to start to find out what is coming up from your shadow to heal. And if you're new to shadow work, I'm going to leave a video for you. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video. And it's a video that I've done for my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video on shadow work. And it's also linked in the description box as well. So, yeah, it's going to tell you all about how to do shadow work. And shadow work is just basically healing what's coming up from your unconscious. So mirror work is about the whole concept about the universe is trying to reflect something to you that is connected to your inner world, to the unconscious. Now, I know that's a bit heavy, but I want you to understand it as when we start watching our outer world, like people that are in our life, like what's happening in our world to us, or even what's happening in the world itself, what's going on with our pets, what's going on in our own systems, health-wise maybe, or children. Children have an incredible way of triggering us. They always will be a mirror for us that are reflecting something back to us that we need to see, especially when, we sit here and go, they're driving me crazy, they're pissing me off, they're making me angry. That is mirror work. That is what the universe is reflecting back to you. That's related to a pattern or a belief system or a struggle or whatever it is that needs to heal. Now, let me give you an example. I am a retired teacher, and so I think it's really important to give you an example, a concrete example of mirror work. So I saw mirror work yesterday in action, and to me, I said to myself, I was trying to figure out why this was happening to me, because that's what mirror work is. And I knew it was because it was a story that I needed to tell you, the example. So yesterday I brought my car in for the umpteenth time to get fixed, and I now know that it's time to get rid of my car. By the way, it's just given me a lot of clues and things, memories that I'm done with part of this in my life, so it's time to get rid of this car. I know. But I was in the garage yesterday waiting in the waiting room with this woman, and there were just the two of us, and she had just finished talking to the technician. And you could tell that she was very much someone that was full of fear, full of anxiety, just the way she was walking around and talking about how she needed a cigarette. And I could just feel her anxious energy. And she started to talk to me, and she told me about her car and what it was doing. And her car, when it came to slow down and came to a stop or a light, she said she could see the whole dashboard, lights start to dimmer, and there was shaking going on, and her car would stall at the stop sign or at the lights. And this was happening all the way to her drive to bringing her car in, and it was happening all the time. And she told me there was even one incident last week where she had a police officer stop her because she was stalled in the middle of traffic, and he followed her where she was going. He followed her home. Now, this isn't, the woman's probably close to my age. I don't know. I have a hard time with the age, but she told me she was living with her parents, and I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you drive this vehicle knowing that it's going to stall all the way here? And the fear and the anxiety in her system over this car doing this to her was incredible. Now, she could have called, had a tow truck bring it in. She could have asked people she was living with to, give her a ride. But here's the thing about what's going on in this woman's outer world that she didn't realize that I knew it was going on because I've lived what she's going through. She's living a flashback, and the panic in her system. So she still thinks she's back in this flashback, and she doesn't realize that she can get out of this as an adult, but she still thinks she's back where she was a child and something was happening to her over and over and over again that was bringing up all this fear and all this anxiety, and she couldn't get out of it as a child, but she can as an adult. And so even just having that police officer saving her, and to me it just sounded like this was something from her childhood that was coming up for her to heal. And if you don't think that your car can be a mirror for you, oh my God. My car has been an incredible mirror for me to, bring back a lot of my own flashbacks of when I was trapped as a child and I couldn't get out of my situation. And so this is what, it's very critical on this journey to start to become aware of what's going on in your outer world, your conscious world, and use it as a mirror to reflect what's happening or coming up for healing in your inner world from your unconscious. It's a fascinating concept that the universe has for us. It's beautiful. But this is the way we can start using our triggers, these people around us, our relationships, what situation you're sitting in with your own relationship. How is this a flashback? How is this bringing up patterns from your childhood? And so we're going to start right now and get into this reading because I could chat forever about mirror work. It's fascinating. So in today's reading, I'm going to be using 3 decks for you. I'm going to start off with the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm going to pull all my main cards. And then I'm going to clarify with, on my left side, which is the outer world, your conscious world, with the Tarot Grand Luxe. And then on the right side, my right side, which is your left side, I believe, the inner world, your unconscious. So we're going to use the Tarot of the Abyss for that one. All right, so I'm going to do some speed shuffling while you listen to a little bit of music. All right, all done shuffling. I didn't think I realized how much there was going to be so much shuffling, which is why I put it on speed shuffling. All right, we're going to start off your reading, Cancer, with this card over here, which is the Knight of Cups, and this is going to be our overriding energy. It's a Knight of Cups in reverse. Back in January, I put out yearly reading for every sign, and I pulled for your sign the August card, and it was the Knight of Cups in reverse. So the Knights in my deck are all about that part of us that wants freedom. So there's a part of you that wants freedom right now, and it's about cups. So it's freedom to take your cup of love, your cup emotions. You want freedom to be able to feel those emotions. You want freedom to be able to have authentic relationships, real relationships, good relationships. And it's in reverse. And so there's a real block here. And whenever that part of you that wants freedom, I call it the freedom fighter part of us, wants freedom and they get blocked and they're feeling blocked, they can quite often feel anger, and they can quite often feel hopeless. And so I'm wondering if you're sitting in some sort of depression, anger, maybe you're experiencing, some anxiety. So that'll be the overriding energy for this month. So let's look at what is, when we look at this mirror work. So what's your outer world look like here? What are you consciously aware of here? What's going on right here that is acting as a reflection, a mirror for what is happening inside of you? So we're going to start off with the Two of Pentacles, our juggler. And our juggler is on one foot. He's pretty ungrounded. And so I'm seeing here that, you know, you're quite ungrounded right now. Maybe multitasking, maybe quite distracted, maybe involved in a lot of things. I mean, look at the water in the background and how that is so ungrounded and wavy, and there's just so many distractions right now going on with you, and you're juggling. You're keeping busy. And oftentimes our busyness is, you know, along the lines of workaholism, or just keeping busy, distracting ourselves from the real, what we need to do is our inner work and going inwards. And you have the Nine of Coins behind it, the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles speaks to me of someone that, I mean, this particular individual is into training falcons, taking the time and the energy and committing themselves to something and being very present. And so the Nine of Pentacles speaks of me as someone that is quite present, that is quite, takes the time to get still. And I'm seeing here that because of these distractions that are going on, it's very much blocking this stillness and that you need to get to. And the Hierophant behind it explains a little bit here about it. So the Hierophant is that card that often it's the sign of this papal figure here, where he's this individual is teaching these other individuals, telling them everything he knows. Very wise individual, and kind of, you know, spewing out all his wisdom and everything to them, and the other two are like sponges here. So kind of, you know, it refers to you as it's talking about how I guess it's the way that we're wired, right? The way that we're wired when we were younger by the people that were our, you know, papal figures, that were our caretakers, and they would bestow upon us their wisdom. And so as children, young people, young adolescents, we would take on what they said, right? We would take on what they said. And I'm wondering here if, because we started off as someone that's very distracted and very much working a lot, being distracted, I'm wondering if maybe you were told that keeping yourself busy is a good thing. I mean, that is, you know, people say that. Oh, just keep yourself busy, you know. I don't want to deal with those emotions, or you've got some grief coming up. Just keep yourself busy so that you can ignore them. And so I'm wondering here if that's what's happened here, where you have been wired to, been told that busyness is a good thing. But what's happening here is it's in reverse here. And so I don't see you as recognizing that your busyness is something that was wired in you, and where you were kind of raised in this way that, you know, it was a good thing to keep busy. And so you're somebody that's always distracted, and making sure, you know, that you're not getting in touch with those emotions that you need to go inwards to feel sometimes. Because the next card that comes up is our Moon card. And the Moon card in an upright position is the card that tells us, you know, when the moon comes out, these things that, you know, like this lobster, this crayfish comes out of the water. So normally these are things you don't see often. But sometimes, you know, it'll start coming out. Weird things start to happen sometimes when it's a full moon. Things come out, right? When they're hidden but it's in reverse here. And so I think what I'm seeing here is that you're not even realizing that there's something you need to look at that's hidden. Because you are so distracted. You keep yourself very distracted, you know, quite probably up in your head the way that you're wired, which prevents you from going inwards, which prevents you from getting in touch with your intuition, your inner knowing, your inner being, because there's some things that are hidden here, but you're not going and looking at them. And then there's the Three of Wands that comes out behind that, which is very interesting, because I'm wondering here if you're feeling some kind of you're thinking about taking a next step, going in a different direction. This is what the Three of Wands is about. It's about going in the direction of our purpose, something more purposeful for yourself. And it's not like you're just getting the nudge for it. It's like you're starting to plan something. You're starting to plan something. And the Two of Swords comes here. The Two of Swords. And you have this decision to make. You know, you realize that, you know, here you are kind of like at a crossroad where you're trying to make this decision. And you have these Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords is about a decision you have to make. And usually it's about a person that's blindfolded and has these two swords, has this decision to make, but they don't even want to even look at it. In fact, it's very much overwhelming. It's like done you in. You know, you so much so you don't want to look at it that it's done you in. So you are completely, I'm going to say, completely up in your head, which doesn't surprise me, because you have this juggler figure that is completely keeping themselves distracted. When you have some sort of a decision to make, maybe you're feeling you're ready. There's something here where you're wanting to do something. You're feeling definitely a plan to go towards it, like I said. But there's something here that's unhidden that you need to, that's hidden that you need to see. You're not willing to look at it. And then you get this card of Six of Wands, a victory card comes up. And the victory talks about, it's a number 6. And the sixes talk about a duality where, you know, it can be giving and receiving, or winning and losing. So in this case, it's this looks upon, like when you first look at this card, well, you know, it looks like a victory card. This got the victory wreaths. This person is winning, just won a battle. But if you take that green blanket off that horse, it's going to reveal what is lost. And so I'm going to say, without even looking at these two cards, what is hidden is what you've lost. There's some loss here. There's a loss here coming up. I'm hearing that. I'm sensing it. And you are doing everything in your power to not deal with it. To just keep yourself in your head distracted, because there's a real loss here that's coming up for you. You can feel it. You can feel it. It's like, I look at this Three of Wands card now, it kind of gives me a different meaning, where this person's looking like, they almost look like they're lost, and they're standing there looking at, you know, when's my ship going to come and get me? Maybe you're so lost, maybe you're thinking that someone's going to come and save you. That happens sometimes. Right? Where you're just so lost. You're looking out into the water and looking for someone to come and help you, come and save you. The Six of Cups. Another 6 beside another 6. And this time, this card is about giving and receiving. You have the winning and the losing duality here. Look at this beautiful little card. It's in reverse, but we'll look at an upright position. Look at this child. And all those beautiful toys below. It just, you look at it and it just gives you some memories of your childhood, something stirring here. And this card is a major arcana card, so it's like that major universal force. This is your inner child card. Your inner child is calling you. Your inner child needs healing. There's some loss here. And we're going to find out what it is. Because if you're experiencing some kind of loss right now, if you're feeling very lost, if you're feeling very lonely, I mean, it's underneath all that busyness, right? It's underneath all that busyness. It's the loss of the child that's being blocked. Because It's in reverse. So that tells me that this child, you can't hear your inner child. You're too busy. You're too distracted. And you're not paying attention to one of your inner child, because you can have more than one inner child is calling you. And then you have the Eight of Cups here. And the Eight of Cups is in reverse. This is a card about walking away. It's in reverse though. And I want to say that your child feels like you've abandoned them, that you've walked away from them. And that sounds really sad, doesn't it? I'm sorry. Because it sounds very sad for me. And it's very sad for you. There's a huge loss here. And you're feeling a loss, but you're covering it up, like I said. Your inner child feels like you have abandoned them. You have walked away from them because you're not hearing them. It's like you're ignoring them because of all this distraction going on. And oftentimes this is going on in our inner world under the surface, and we don't even know it because we can get so distracted, right? So this is what's going on right now in your outer world. Now it's a mirror. So let's go see what's over here. What's going on in your inner world? It's going to reflect, I'm sure, something to do. I don't know. I haven't looked at it or studied it or anything, but I'm assuming it's going to have something to do with this inner child that has experienced this loss when they were younger. And it's coming up right now for you probably to look at again. So this is your inner child. So this is your inner world, and the devil comes up. The devil comes up when it talks about attachments, when it talks about things that we're very attached to. Often it can talk about our addictions, things that, very, very attached to. And so because it's your inner world, and this is what's happened when you were younger, I'm wondering if, there are some attachment issues here that are coming up for you. Maybe abandonment issues, because I'm going to say abandonment, not supportive. Something happened when you were younger, because this is the Three of Pentacles right underneath it. Look at these hands reaching up for help, reaching up for support. Right? This card normally for me, because this is a healing channel, it represents getting help, getting therapy, right? Hanging on to that one person for dear life, a rock, for therapy, to get you through some tough times. It's in reverse here, and it's from your inner world. So I'm seeing here that you didn't get that support. You didn't get it. It's like you hung on and somebody let go. You had this attachment to somebody. You had an attachment to somebody. We form these bonds, we form these attachments when we were young. Somebody let go. And the King of Pentacles comes in here. Why the King? Well, the King is, I'm going to say that when you're younger, well, let me just say the King is the masculine part of us. The King is our ego self. We all have a masculine and a feminine side. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Everyone has it. Don't know it or don't want to accept it. But we have an ego self. Everybody knows that. And this ego self, the King of Pentacles, talks about your body being grounded. It talks about your sense of worth, about you mattering. Well, the King of Pentacles here comes in when you are a young child and you've had this attachment. Somebody let go, somebody abandoned you, And you're too young to handle those huge emotions, way too young. And so our ego self will come in and kind of kibosh, put a block to, these emotions. And so I think what happened was you took on this feeling of unworthiness. Your ego self would have maybe, made you feel or allowed you to feel that maybe this is all your fault. Because as a young child, to accept that your own caretakers would have done this to you was just not something you could have accepted, because that would mean you would have had nothing in your life. And so you took this inwards, and you made it about you, and you made it yourself to believe that this was my fault. I must have been the one that's unworthy for this to happen to me. And so that's what happens when we're younger. We can take that blame on ourselves. So you have this real unworthiness or shame because of this loss that's coming up for you right now again in your life. That's a mirror of what happened to you when you were younger. Here's another shame card that comes up for you. This is the Five of Wands. This is the ego, the battle of the egos, where this is always the card where you start comparing yourself to other people. They're stronger than me, they're better than me, I'm not that, and that's what you would have said to yourself when you were younger than this happened, where you would have just beat yourself up because you had to. You had no other choice. And you felt unworthy. You felt less than. You felt like you didn't matter. That was for your survival. Six of Swords comes in here. And the Six of Swords speaks to me. This is not in an upright position. In an upright position, the Six of Swords has this, I call him the gondolier man, where he's taking these individuals to a safer place. This is my safety card. This is like getting into a safe place. And it's in reverse here. When you were younger, you did not feel safe. You lost that feeling of safety. You lost that feeling of safety because you didn't have anybody to help you, validate you, support you when you were younger. And the Knight of Wands comes out here. Here's our knight, another knight. The freedom to be creative, the freedom to take your life in the direction you want to go, the freedom to just dream. Maybe as a child you were a real dreamer. I mean, it's beautiful to dream, right? But, I'm going to say that was probably lost too. Or maybe you went back into your head and you started to just dream. Maybe you became kind of a person that daydreams. And because, remember we started off with this person that's often distracted. So maybe that you became someone, and the King of Pentacles would definitely do it to you, where your ego self, where you started to live in your head. You just started to live in your head. And this would have taken you out of your pain, right? Our emotions are in our body. And if something happens to us when you're younger like this ego self will want to keep us in our head, because the ego self is petrified of emotions. So scared of them because they're going to eat us alive. And as a young child, you can't deal with these big emotions. So you went up in your head. And maybe you became a dreamer, protection, survival. Yeah, and there's a tower moment that comes in. There's something definitely that really happened to you when you were younger. Now, this could have been this tower moment, which is a major, major, major transformative card where your life is taken into a different direction. So, maybe there's something on top of this that really took your life into a different direction, because there is a tower moment that's buried here in your unconscious, in your shadow, something that really, you know, as a child, really destroyed you. And you have the Chariot card right behind it. And the Chariot card talks about, you know, inner movement and getting in touch with our inner self, getting in touch in our body, getting in touch with our inner guidance. It's in reverse here, right? Look at this individual on these geese, right? Just trying to control everything by their head here, right? Trying to control. These geese can go in any direction and you'd fall. So they're just really trying to be controlling. And this is in reverse here. So it really has, because of this Tower moment that went on in your life, you really became, as a child, you and you might even feel it now, where you find you're trying to control your situation now with your head. You're just trying to get a hold of this situation, but because of this Tower moment, you were a child, you couldn't control it. You had no control over this situation. Absolutely no control over this Tower moment. Very, very powerful, painful. Something happened here. And you have the Six of Pentacles here. And as a result of what happened here, the Six of Pentacles comes in, and you have this beggar who's feeling like they're worth 3 coins. That's it. And so this individual is going to give you 3 coins because that's all you think you're worth. This is the number 6. So it's a giving and it's a receiving. It's another 6 here. You have the 6 and the 6 and the 6. So very much a duality card again, where this is a card of unworthiness, right? So much unworthiness here because of this Tower moment. And you know, I'm going to say that because of this Tower moment, there was no way that you could have trusted anybody around you, because you knew that you were not in a safe place. That was already established, because this part did not come after the Tower moment. This all came before. So you have already had this in your system, where you knew you weren't, for some reason somebody had, you know, you knew you weren't supported. You knew you weren't validated. You knew you weren't safe. You already felt like you didn't matter. And then this Tower moment happened to you, which again, like, just made you feel completely unworthy. And the Lover's card is a card that talks about, it's a major arcana, major universal force, and it talks about being so much, joining the feminine and the masculine aspect of ourselves, being very much in touch with who we are. You lost that. You completely lost touch with who you are. Very, very painful here. A lot of pain. And you are keeping yourself distracted, busy, because there's a huge loss here. And that loss is over here with these 3 of Pentacles not having the support in the Tower moment. That's what's happening. Do you see how it reflects, how it mirrors what's going on with you? And so the universe wants you to recognize what's going on and why, because it's going back to your childhood here. And this is what needs to heal. What is the message from the universe? And then we'll go look at the healing. So the message of the universe is, well, here's a gift for you. Here's another offer. It's the Sword of authenticity. You don't know who you are. Cancer, your identity was taken away from you. You know, I mean, completely, especially after this Tower moment. There was no chance here as a child. But you've held on. If you're sitting here watching my video and if this is resonating with you, you have held on. You have held on. And the universe wants you to find out who you are now. Here's your chance to find out who you really are. That's the message. Who are you? Who were you before all of this happened? You know, who are you? It's not your unworthy self. the one that feels that they don't matter, the one that feels they're a piece of shit. That's not who you are. There's something underneath there, the real you. And then you have the Eight of Coins, the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles, that talks about, doing something, doing a job usually, doing something that we really enjoy doing. And so the universe wants to take you to a place where you're going to find your authenticity. And then maybe you're going to find it through doing what you really wanted to do, right? Something maybe that you really wanted to do here. And maybe you know what it is. Here's the Nine of Swords that keeps you up at night. Here's the Nine of Swords. All those swords, that's all that mental energy. Each sword represents all those belief systems that you have about yourself. I'm garbage, I'm a piece of shit, I don't matter, I'm nothing. The universe wants you to turn all of that upside down. The universe wants you to become aware of, what are you telling yourself? What is this? These two kings that are out here. What's this king? What's your ego self telling you to keep yourself up in your head? What are these messages that keep you distracted and running from this pain? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the last card that comes out here is a beautiful page. Remember I talked about your inner child here that you're blocking? Here's the page. Here's the inner child. It's the Page of Cups. There's 4 pages in my deck. I told you we could have more than one inner child. Who's the Page of Cups? If you're going to pick one of the pages to get to know, it's the Page of Cups. Page of Cups has the cup. It's the love. They have love backing them up. But guess what? They're the ones that are going to wreak the most havoc. This is the page in you. I call it your little love seeker. It's the one that will spend their entire life, if they're not healed, searching for that one person that's going to come and save them, and save them from this pain that they're in right here. Save them from all this pain, because there was nobody when they were younger to save them. Here's the Three of Pentacles. We talked about grabbing onto that rope. Here's your unsafe childhood, that you didn't feel safe. Well, this little child of yours, this love seeker, is going to spend their life. It's going to spend their life searching for that one person. You're going to move from person. So if you're one of those people that keeps on attracting these toxic people coming into your life, well, this is the little love seeker that's calling them in. Maybe you can be my savior. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. And that needs to be healed. And this is also the little people pleaser. The one that's going to, distract themselves and be so busy and give up themselves because that's what you did when you were younger, because you had no choice. You had to give up yourself in order to survive. And now the message from the universe says, this needs healing. Your inner child in there that's in so much pain, your little love seeker needs healing. So how can you heal your little love seeker, your inner child? Here's the Nine of Wands in reverse. Look at this person. It's been through so much pain, battles, struggles. And the universe wants you to heal, to start to heal. To start to look at your childhood. Start to look at what happened to you. Here's the Moon card in reverse. We talked about the Moon card right here in reverse again. Now I find it absolutely amazing when it's the same row and same card comes out at the beginning and then we see it at the end. The universe wants you to look at those things that are hidden, that are in your unconscious. You may not even know that you have had this Tower moment. You may not even know the extent to which you feel unworthy and why you feel so unworthy. But the universe says it's time to take a look at these things that are hidden in your unconscious that you aren't aware of. And it ends with the beautiful Queen. She is the feminine side of us. We talked about the masculine side and how that's the the one that keeps us in our head spinning with all these mental thoughts we've told ourselves about ourselves. Well, she comes in, and she's the Queen of Swords as well as the King of Swords, right? She's the one that, she's our feminine side. She's the one that holds our authenticity, who we are. She's all about inner knowing. She's all about intuition. She's about getting into your body. She's about getting still. She's about grounding yourself. She's about just, getting back into your inner world, your emotions, and start to feel. Because once you start to feel these emotions that you needed to feel but couldn't feel as a child, you're going to start to find out who you really are. Who you really are. And I believe she came in reverse. I can't remember. But if she is in reverse, it's because she's feeling quite hopeless right now. Especially if your ego self is out, then she will feel, because she's blocked, right? So there is a real call here for authenticity. The Queen, or the Ace of Swords, and the Queen here are they are the ones that are on the outside here, calling, a real calling here for your authenticity, authentic relationships, your Knight of Cups, the overriding energy here. So it's this Cancer, this is a reading about getting back to your authenticity, who you really are. And you're going to heal that. You're on your way. So I will leave you with, I think I'm going to leave you with some grounding videos, because I want you to learn how to ground, to get back into your body, because you're very much in your head, and I think you need some grounding because you're so distracted right now. So grounding videos, and then I'll leave you with your a reading on how to do shadow work, our video on how to do shadow work, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.